Happy Valentine's Day. I'm really excited about today's episode 20. Um, Choosing love and your favorite Valentine. So we have all sorts of beautiful, loving, lovely things in store for all of us today. And this is one of my favorite holidays. I have spent many of them on my own, as opposed to, many people think Valentine's Day is all about the coupling, couples, and union. And while we're going to talk about that today, certainly, and union and choosing your union and choosing your Valentine. Uh, there's also something I shared earlier this week with a dear friend of mine. I sent it to my friend Marilyn and shared with her that, you know, because sometimes I think people feel badly, oh, you're by yourself on Valentine's Day. And while I never feel completely alone, of course, because I'm walking with so many beautiful Valentines throughout my days, and always with God, of course, always who has my back, the universe. I'm never alone. I had a beautiful soiree this past weekend, and there were many, many couples. I think maybe a couple of people who are single. So we'll talk about that dynamic today, and choosing healthy bonds versus trauma bonds. Trauma bonds, and I'll talk a little bit more about what I mean by that. But I would like to say that the premise of this today and always is the love is only as great as the lover. So just like money, just like anything really in this world, is that if you are kind, the actions and the things that you do and the outcomes that you have tend to be kinder. If you are a, a person who walks a lot in fear, and that is their steering compass, then a lot of your bonds, including your love bond, your partnership bond, will be based on fear. Which I don't know that anyone would really want to dwell there. We all go there from time to time, but to dwell there is something different. Yeah. If you're a violent person, then you're going to have violent love. If you are always walking in shadow, there were some things on the Super Bowl this past weekend about Ice Spice and satanic, all of this stuff, blah, blah, blah. That's just shadow stuff, you know. So if you're choosing to live in darkness and dwell there and worship that as opposed to the light, well, that's your prerogative. But that you're not welcome in this space. You'll sort yourself out pretty quickly because this space is all about light and love, and each one shining our light brighter and brighter, and that the reflections of the relationships that we have, the people that walk into our life, reflect back to us the parts that we love about ourselves and the parts that we may not love about ourselves. And that's where the greatest love of all, choosing love and your favorite Valentine, that's where the love begins, as we talk about every week, is on the inside. So everything today we talk about is about living well today. And let me frame well. I don't mean simply in the form of material, although that is material prosperity is certainly a form of, when given and lived in with appreciation and love, is a form of love. And so while that is part of living well, it is also living well in body, living well in spirit, living well in your mind, mentally, your mental health, your mental well-being, living well emotionally, living well in your auric body, your energetic field, which is felt first by everyone. So let's begin by, and that, by the way, that the love is only as great as the lover, is really comes from author Toni Morrison, who is phenomenal about how she has written about love. Byron Katie, another author that I love, has a beautiful book about love and loving yourself and honoring and cherishing your first Valentine, which is you. So you're going to see behind me, these are all remnants, all these beautiful roses are remnants of my Valentine's Day soiree this past weekend. And what a blessing to be able to do what I do. One of the things that I love most, which is make things beautiful and presentable and entertaining. And also creating a space, another thing I love doing, creating a space of love and joy and happiness and laughter. And we had all of that. Boy, did we ever. So to Yvette, who did such a beautiful job with all of the oysters, to all of my beautiful people who came and into the love circle this past weekend, I thank you and I wish you a happy Valentine's Day. So I have all sorts of fun stuff here with me today. Hello, gorgeous. I just went around like, it's that thing when you're sorting and sifting for certain things, you find it right away. And I'm looking for red and looking for love and looking for like things that represent love and the color of love and the color of passion and fire. Um, so I want to talk about the tools that can support you as well in choosing yourself as your favorite Valentine. So rose quartz. I'm a big, everything has energy. So I'm a big believer in the things that you surround yourself with and the tools that we utilize to help remind us on our journey of who we are, why we're here, and how to love. How to love. And so rose quartz. This is actually like a rubbing stone, a rose quartz, so that you rub it and you transmute any knots, tension, things that you're feeling into this. And some will need this more than others today. And I empathize with that. I'm right there with you and have been there where you are before. If you're struggling at all today, I'm wrapping my arms around you and sending you lots of love and ease and patience and faith that if you cultivate yourself as your own first love and your own Valentine, that the other person that is the right union with you will come your way. I promise that. And I promise that to myself as well. I have this beautiful that I got from a dear friend of mine, Rasaji, Master Lama Rasaji, for Circle of Life. And these are rose quartz mala beads, prayer beads. And you, as prayer beads, of course, you work your way around in meditation with each bead with 108 beads. And I have a little surprise here for us, an affirmation. So the story you tell yourself about love and the choice and choosing love, choosing light and choosing love over choosing darkness and choosing shadow. We all have shadow. There are two sides to every coin. It's there, but it's learning to look at the other side of the coin and make a conscious choice to live there in that place. That makes all the difference. So this is from my dear friend. You've seen her on the show before, Folly, who is a healer. She owns and operates the Seventh Wonder Holistic Spa here in Jacksonville. And luckily, she's like 2 minutes down the street from me. She's the only fully salt Himalayan room. The entire room is of Himalayan salt bricks and then she's illuminated behind the walls. It's magnificent. And if you know about Himalayan salt, which is another pink item for us, it neutralizes the ions in the air, so it cleanses. It detoxifies the air, it detoxifies your body. That's why they say, Epsom salts, etc., or soaking in a Himalayan salt, doing Himalayan salt shower can detoxify. Our skin is the largest organ on our body. So that's a good. So seventh wonder, Folly says, an affirmation, you get an affirmation each time you leave the spa. I surround myself with positive influences and people who treat me well. And so the only way that you have people who treat you well is when you treat yourself well first. And then they show up to affirm that and match that. Another aspect of the union and the choices that you're making around that, one of my favorite quotes of all time, and my friend Marilyn repeats it back to me often now, is when people show you who they are the first time, believe them. So if someone shows you a part of themselves early on in the partnership, in the relationship, believe them. Believe them that that's who they are, who their essence is, until they make a change. So what does that have to do with your choices in choosing love and choosing your favorite Valentine being yourself? Because when we choose a partner out of need, like I'm scared, I don't have money, or I'm so lonely, or I am whatever it might be. Maybe you need a green card. Whatever when you choose someone out of love, out of need, like an immediate need to a salve on a wound, while that may fulfill short-term feelings and wants and desires, the long-term union is it may not bode for the best long-term union. So when you are making healthier choices, whether it's healthier choices in your diet, healthier choices in your habits, actions, behaviors, thoughts, of how you walk in the world, then honoring you as the most important, and some will call it selfish, but God, the universe, said always wants you to be thriving and prosperous. And if your cup is not filled up and you are not first honoring your own boundaries and honoring your own desires, you are just less than you selfless. You are just less than your whole full self. So it's really important that, and so many marriages and unions are based on trauma, that trauma bond, that you see such a high, and I, for sure, I got married at 22 years old. I was scared to death coming out of college. Like, how am I going to support myself? What am I going to do next? Where am I going to live? All those really challenging choices that my daughter has done so brilliantly. She's still in it, right? She's still making that transition, but she just got her first own apartment on her own. She just got her own first job on her own. I know it's daunting for her. It's daunting for all of us, but it's a very exciting time for her. I'm so thrilled for her. And I'm working diligently to be the non-mom. She's my second favorite. I'm my first favorite Valentine. She's my second favorite Valentine. So if you're watching, McKenna, I much love you. Happy Valentine's Day, darling girl, darling young woman. But I chose a marriage. I loved my husband. I thought I loved what I loved was love. What I felt was love. But what I felt was love based on fear, based on trauma, based on circumstances through my own growing up with my dad and other things in my life, that the relationship between my mother and father was just horrific, about as bad as it could be. So I wanted to do everything that I could to demonstrate that I had healed, that I had grown up, that I wasn't that. And I promised myself I would never get divorced. And then 13 years later, I was. So I've made conscious choices not to remarry yet, only because I will only be in union forever in this life. I will only be in union again like that at that level with someone who is choosing me based on the fact that we both bring unique gifts, that we can become more than we could become on our own, not out of because we have deficiencies, but because we have unique talents and unique abilities, and we see the world from a different perspective, and that there is no baggage relative to, I shouldn't say no, that's a tough call, because I think maybe all of us have some until but that they have done a lot of healing and a lot of releasing around the traumas they experienced growing up, and around how they view the world now as a result of that growing up and those influences and beliefs that were maybe nurtured early on from parents and siblings and etc. We live in a culture that thrives on trauma and drama. Um, because it's profitable to a lot of companies. But what I'll say is that more and more people are healing a lot of that and waking up to that. Um, and so as you celebrate this beautiful day. Now originally, the old story on Valentine's Day, the Saint Valentine's, whatever they called it, right? Um, but the idea is that it's all to do, just like Christmas or any other special occasion, it's all to do with your frame of mind around it and your intention of marking the day as extraordinary. So we want to love, of course, 365 days. We want to love ourselves and honor that which is that brings us alive, like this event that I had this past weekend, creating, beautiful things for people to enjoy, and laughing and music. And I mean, that's life. That's why we're here, right? We chose this life. We chose the life we came into. And then it's our journey to level up and to heal those past stories, even in past lives, of what has shaped us to be who we are right now. And every time someone shows up in your life that there's trauma there in that relationship, breakups back together, or there's a lot of trauma or drama going on in that person's life, look at it as a gift and say, what is it that I'm learning about this? What is this about? What is it that's triggering me, that's showing me how to become my better love for myself, my first choice love, God and me. First choice love. All right, what other tools do I have? All right, so I talked about the quartz. Affirmations. I talked about affirmations. I have, well, lots of light, candles, scents, rose. Rose is the essence of love and motherhood, which is at its nature love and caring. Rose. I have my Mr. Darcy candle. Isn't that a hoot? It's one of my favorite movies, Pride and Prejudice. More rose quartz. Oh, I know. I've got this. I'm an Aries. I continue to work on the shadow side of my Aries, which is full steam ahead and put your shoulder into everything that you do, the ram. Stubborn, strong-headed, strong-minded. While strong-minded at times can be good. Flip side of the coin. It also can present some challenges when you're collaborating and you need the help and support and the trust and patience in your circle of colleagues at work, etc., in particular, and in your own relationships. So I love this because my initials are AM, M, M. am being. And this is today, of course, all about being being present for yourself. That was my word of the week today. Be, be my Valentine. Be my own best Valentine. Okay. Aries, the ram. So I use lots of sprays and things like that. Again, tools. Oh, that's lovely. Whole Foods. You can get these at Whole Foods. But I am. That's what this says. I am. How lovely is that? The cardinal fire sign, ruling planet Mars, confident, determined, leader, passionate, passionate. Yes, Aries is definitely passionate. No question about it. Here's my rose, a large piece of rose quartz here. Rose, rose, rose. Do you have rose essence? You ever done the rose essence spray on yourself in the morning? Oh my goodness. It's just brightens and lightens you up. Helpful tools. Helpful tools. And this is my, it's red, as you maybe can see. This is my Bible from my grandmother. It was hers when she was young, and she gave it to me. So this Bible, well, let's see. My grandmother was born in 1923. Yeah. So maybe not quite 100 years old. Close. Always will have this with me. And Lamont, wonderful. We talk about journaling, and I always reassure you, you do not have to be a writer to journal. You just write gobbledygook. It doesn't matter. It's all about getting it out on the page, getting it out of your body and onto the page, bird by bird. Some instructions on writing and life. I love Anne Lamott. Journal. And what does it say? Always be kind. Kindness is like flowers, its blooms and beauty adds beauty. Sorry. Kindness is like flowers, its blooms add beauty to everything it touches. Isn't that lovely? And then again, I mentioned Rasaji earlier, his book. You can find it at circleoflife.com. It's, as you can see, it's nice and thin and easy to read, but chocked full of so much love and lessons on love and lessons on light and lessons on being. The figure eight, grounding us and helping us get into flow, the flow of life and the flow of love. So what are you all doing for Valentine's? It's so exciting. I have a family from Switzerland coming tomorrow who are Airbnb. And so I'm actually going to see my mom. Isn't that lovely? I'm excited to see her and spend some time with her. What are you all doing? I would love to hear. And for those of you who watch this after the replay, through the replay, I hope you had a beautiful Valentine's Day. I hope you honor and cherish and choose you first. Choose you as your own love, your own first love, and not choosing a partner that's based on trying to fill in cracks within you, fill up the holes or the gaps of you, because it will never be enough. It's like there's not enough money in the world to fill in the gaps of you. And you're bigger than all of that anyway. So as you cultivate, go to my YouTube channel, watch some of the meditations. There's a beautiful heart meditation in there. Use the Calm app. Look up Christy Sheldon. Christy Sheldon has a beautiful heart meditation. Oh, it's wonderful. And after you finish her heart meditation, you open your eyes, any meditation really, but particularly this one. And everything, the colors are brighter. The room is lighter and brighter. It's amazing. And you feel lighter. And it's all about the lightness of being. We need all the light we can get. All of us do right now. So I'm wishing you lots of love and fun this Valentine's Day. And I hope for you that you can walk in full appreciation of all that you are, of choosing love, choosing yourself first. Use the tools around you. Message me through my website, bloom@angelamunin.com, for any questions about any of the things that I talked about today. And now I have a gift, one for you, my love, and one for me. Wishing you beauty on this beautiful day, for living well today. See you next week. Bye for now.